Day two of the Bradley Manning trial kicked off today, the moment many in the courtroom were waiting for, a testimony from the man who alerted federal authorities that Manning was the person behind the biggest document drop in American history. Former computer hacker Adrian Lamo detailed how he communicated with the Army Private First Class using a number of computers and email addresses along with encrypted text. RT has been covering this story since the first Apache helicopter video was released. And if you had trouble accessing our RT.com website yesterday afternoon, for the latest information on this trial, there's a reason why. We were attacked. A group known as Anti-Leaks claimed responsibility for shutting down our website for several hours. Apparently, the group has a problem with the free flow of information. But hey, the fact that we were attacked could mean that this group is afraid that the stories that we report might just be worth listening to. So let's get straight to the story that they didn't want us to cover. RT producer Adriana Ucero is at Fort Meade with the latest on the Bradley Manning trial. Hi there, Adriana. So what came out of the Adrian Lamo testimony today?
Hi there, Megan. Yes, today, as you just said, was the second day in the court proceedings of the court-martial of Bradley Manning. Some key things happening today. Most noteworthy was, as you pointed out earlier, the testimony of Adrian Lamo, a former hacker that actually ended up giving over Manning to authorities. Very interesting testimony. We were able to just reconfirm some of the things that we already knew throughout the trial, and a lot to talk about for sure.
So how was he received in the courtroom, Adrian Lamo?
Well, Megan, it was actually kind of a shock. Not a lot of people were expecting him to testify today, especially not as early in the day as he did. So you could hear some gasp in the courtroom from some of the visitors and some from the media attending. And as he made his way to the podium, it was actually very interesting. You could see his demeanor, just very serious, very straightforward, just ready to be able to, speak his mind. It was just quite of a shock.
So what came of today's trial? Let's talk about Manning. First of all, how was his demeanor? And then what did we learn today?
Well, Manning looked very engaged in all the proceedings. Physically, he looked pretty much the same as he has had in the past. However, he looked very engaged. He looked very attentive, especially when Adrian Lamo was testifying. He also tried to sort of make some sort of contact with Lamo. He tried to sort of look him in the eye and try to, crack half a smile, but wasn't able to make some sort of contact with him. So that was very interesting to see. You could see that it was very tense environment. You could also see that it was actually sorry, Megan, sorry I lost you there. It was actually a very, very emotional testimony with even Lamo himself trying to keep his composure over things that are obviously, very, very sensitive.
And talk about the presence in the courtroom. Was there the same amount of media presence in the courtroom? And what was the feel like to you, Adriana?
Well, actually, today, interestingly enough, in the media center yesterday, it was full. It was around 70 journalists packed the entire house, and that goes along with the courtroom. Today, however, less than half attended, 25. However, major media outlets were in attendance, including The Guardian and The New York Times. And, well, for those who didn't actually attend, they missed out on a very, very important part of the proceedings, which was the Lamo testimony, in which we heard about his actual communications with Manning, how long it actually was. It was about a period from May 20th to the 26th, and how intimate their conversations were, and how much they shared throughout that time, even though they were almost strangers at that point. Or actually, no, they were strangers at that point, because Manning himself had actually went and reached out to Lamo personally, because he needed someone to be able to talk to, essentially. And that's what one of the key things that the prosecution wanted to make clear was the fact that this entire process, through this entire all this leaks and everything that happened, Manning was just trying to connect with other people, and he was only trying to do this, in the words of the the defense was only trying to make the world a better place, in his words.
Now, WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange recently released a statement about Bradley Manning's trial. I want to read part of it. He said, quote, "This is not justice. Never could this be justice. The verdict was ordained long ago. Its function is not to determine questions such as guilt or innocence or truth or falsehood. It is a public relations exercise designed to provide the government with an alibi for posterity. It is a show of wasteful vengeance, a theatrical warning to people of conscience." So is this a shared sentiment from what you are gathering at Fort Meade among Manning's supporters?
Well, absolutely, Megan. That is pretty much, that hits the nail on the head for many of the supporters and the people that I've talked to that have come and taken time out to go and attend the trial as spectators. Also, another interesting aside, yesterday, many of them were not able to wear any T-shirts or wear any buttons that were in solidarity with the private. Today, however, they were able to come in with Free Bradley Manning paraphernalia, if you will, with T-shirts, with signs. The officials here for Meade said that it was supposed to be a safety issue. They wanted to make sure that nothing happened in court. However, they assured the press that that would no longer happen and that people would be able to come in and be free in the courtroom.
And let's talk about Manning's defense lawyer, David Coombs. As I understand it, he tried to bring up WikiLeaks today, but the judge stopped him from doing so. Why was that?
Well, during his line of questioning, when he was cross-examining Adrian Lamo, he tried to talk about, ask Lamo about Manning's involvement with WikiLeaks as per his point of view. However, the judge deemed that hearsay. As we know from yesterday, one of the main points the prosecution contends is that not only did Manning knowingly leak classified information, he was also aiding the enemy by doing so, i.e. he was aiding WikiLeaks, which the prosecution still contends was read by Al-Qaeda and other terrorist groups. So this is another reason why the prosecution is trying to make very clear that by leaking information to WikiLeaks, Manning was aiding the enemy.
And finally, Adriana, we have about 30 seconds left, but what's next for this case?
Well, it seems just more testimony. Just today, right now, testimony is still continuing on, and just today, another list of witnesses has been released for the next 3 days, around 10 to 15 people on that docket.
Producer Adriana Ucero bringing us the latest from Fort Meade.